What's up, everyone? Marc Lobliner, TigerFitness.com, CEO, MTS Nutrition, partner in Ambrosia Collective. Now, guys, I got CrossFit certified, and my buddy, my best friend, Sean Torbati, owner of HPN, came with me and got his CrossFit certification as well. Now, I was lambasted online on this very channel for selling out and basically turning my back on the bodybuilding community. That couldn't be further from the truth. The only thing I got from CrossFit that I use daily is the fact that I have taught myself to do an overhead squat, and I squat daily because it reinforced my idea that if you're not good at something, to do it more often. By squatting daily, my hip mobility is up, I feel healthier, I feel better, and honestly, I learned a lot from the class and I met a lot of cool people. Now, I went in with the sole intention of learning about this methodology. This methodology is a methodology that I might not agree with 100%. This methodology is a methodology that I have been in contrast to my entire career. But if something has captivated the world and set the world on fire as much as CrossFit and created an almost mob mentality, and we'll get into that later, I feel it's something that we should take notice of and learn so we know what we're talking about if someone asks us, why do we bodybuild and why don't we CrossFit? Or if I'm training someone in their diet, because I do still coach for diet, nutrition, marclobliner.com is my rates. Just not a sales pitch, just being real. That's the truth. Honestly, I want to be able to help. And I coach a lot of people from all walks of life, from competitive powerlifters to CrossFitters to OCR racers. While I don't provide the training programs because I'm not an expert in powerlifting, if you want someone like that, go to Westside and look up Conjugate or go to a good powerlifting coach. I was a powerlifter, but it's not my field of expertise. I'm a bodybuilder and I help people lose body fat and build lean mass. And that's my specialty. Diet's diet. I can diet anybody and I could peak anybody and I could train any athlete with diet. You know, I don't create those and I don't put together people's WODs, although now I can. WOD is the workout of the day for CrossFit. If you want to learn about that, go to CrossFit's website. They put a new WOD up every day. So I'm going to look over and I have my computer right here. Don't think I'm cheating because that's the whole point of this article. I'm going to go over some of Sean's article and I'm going to contrast or I'm going to agree with the things he says. Now, I think Sean and me have a similar mindset. We're both based on safety. We're both based on help people reach their goals without hurting them. We're both based on building as much lean mass as possible and keeping on as little fat as possible. That's the bottom line. So, Sean kind of goes into, and again, this article is linked down below. It's the first link down below. How being ignorant to CrossFit, you know, is something that we shouldn't do. We should learn about it. And if you don't like it after that, fine. But at least learn about it and don't just watch their CrossFit games where it's all about just getting the reps. A lot of the instructors I know do practice good form, okay? Just like go to LA Fitness, any LA Fitness in the total world, in the entire world right now, and you'll see some good trainers and some mostly really shit trainers. Does that make all bodybuilders bad? No. The thing I dislike about CrossFit is the fact that, Sean gets into this later, the fact that you have time combined with reps, combined with load, combined with competition. And that could lead to form breakdown and injury. So let's get into what CrossFit is. And I'm going to read this because Sean actually pulled this definition. It's an exercise training methodology designed with the goal of increasing work capacity across broad time and modal domains. This means the system hopes to deliver its participants well-rounded life fitness with the ability of this fitness to transcend application in time. It aims to achieve the goal through workouts consisting of constantly varied functional movements. This approach focuses on developing what have been termed as the 10 fitness skills. So we're not going to mention all of this because, well, I don't want to take anything away from CrossFit. And honestly, the instructors there were amazing people. I had a great time. And honestly, Sean and me trained our ass off there. We had such a good time, pushed ourselves, and we did nothing but good form there. And we'll get into that later too. From an organizational standpoint, CrossFit preaches technique before intensity. This is what they teach, and we're going to explain how that breaks down. Compound movements, which we love. Obviously, you know I'm a squat freak. Progression over time. As you guys know, progressive overload is the single greatest way to build muscle. Cardiovascular conditioning, which is good if you don't want to die. The power of commitment and consistency through a cultivated group atmosphere. The only con of CrossFit that we can find is a high injury rate. And we will explain how that happens. CrossFit is definitely good. I agree with Sean when done correctly. So the thing is, we had to experience in our certification 2 WODs. And I beat Sean by a little bit. I was like the 4th one done. He was like the 6th one done out of like 50 dudes. Okay. The bottom line is, after about 6 minutes of work, 5 minutes of work, whatever, we were spent. My lungs hurt. I was coughing up stuff I've never coughed up before. And it was crazy. And I remember I went over, Sean and I, after I was done, because I was sitting there just watching Sean. I was too tired to cheer him on. I was just like, yeah, I don't care if you die. I don't like you anyway. You know, we go over and we're there. Everybody's around this older gentleman. And Sean talks about this in the article. And he is having trouble getting up the weight. And he had, I believe, 3 more rounds of this WOD left, which I believe was a push press superset with burpees or something like that, right? The form he had on his push press was nothing short of scary. And Sean whispered to me during this, he said, this is where bad things happen. He was absolutely correct. This guy was literally using any technique, any jerking, herking, and unconventional means necessary to get this weight up and complete the rep. He completed the rep. And I was looking around, in the mob mentality, you had about 40 people. The rest of them were on the sidelines gasping for air. We were watching. By that time, we were fully recovered. He was at about 15 minutes. We were done 10 minutes before, right? And even the instructors were cheering him on to get more reps and more sets. And his form was shit. It was scary. I thought he was going to hurt himself. Lordosis of the spine, complete rounding of the back. His scapula wasn't retracted. Everything was wrong. So that's where the bad things come in, is that mob mentality. So I think Sean actually put this well. Can this effect be managed and eliminated? I think so, but it will require a shift in education for coaches and operations for boxes that creates and reinforces a protective protocol meant to manage intensity and provide downscaling options during WODs. Basically, completing loaded explosive movements for multiple repetition sets with an emphasis on getting it all done as fast as possible is a precarious undertaking to begin with. And when you combine that with a mob mentality and trying to get weight, reps, and speed, you're going to have some problems. You're going to have some injuries. And that's why there's extremely high rate of injury. And I also will point that bodybuilding, when done incorrectly, and powerlifting, when done with improper form. Dude, last year on the Games Tour in Australia, Sean, Doug, and me walked into a gym. About 5 minutes into it, a dude was doing deadlifts and straight up severed. I think he fractured his spine. So this isn't endemic to CrossFit. It's bad training in general. So the thing is, bottom line is, we like CrossFit, okay? But we also need to temper the fact that you need to scale it down to your abilities and push and push and push. But once your form breaks down, either find a way to strip the weight off a little bit to not compromise that form, and the higher the weight, the more the risk of injury. Lessen the rate of injury, lessen the weight, and we need to stop the mob mentality where if you are at a box and you see someone's form completely breaking down, where they're pulling stuff up, you need to help them. So I will say this, I have much love for CrossFit, as I do any exercise. My theory's always been, if you enjoy something, do it, okay? I personally enjoy bodybuilding. But I also enjoy athletic endeavors. I enjoy training athletically. I enjoy movement. I enjoy being able to move. I enjoy playing with my kids. However, if someone enjoys CrossFit and that keeps them in the gym, do CrossFit. Just temper your competitive nature. Still push yourself, but don't injure yourself in the process. Because injury means time off. Time off means regression. I'm Marc Lobliner, tigerfitness.com. Read their article down below. Sean also gives some great options for some supplements that'll help you if you're a CrossFitter. And that's not a game.